the release of 3.18 coming soon and all its exciting new features and content, I wanted to share an analysis of the state of Star Citizen and maybe level set some expectations for the game going forward, and probably not in the way you think. At the taping of this video, I worked in games for around 18 years and shipped over a dozen titles. So, let me say just this. Star Citizen is not an alpha. It is not a beta. It is a released title. Now, I understand that CIG have labeled it an alpha, so much so that alpha is on the currency, but I think it's important to establish what an alpha is and why the distinction is important. Generally, for game software releases, an alpha release is feature complete. A beta release is content complete, and Gold Master or final release is the one that goes into production for distribution to the end user. A side note, it is common that a final release becomes a final and a final release, and so on and so forth, as blocking bugs are found late in development. As we know, Star Citizen is not feature complete, and it is definitely not content complete. So what is it? I'd say it's in dynamic development, or even open development. The team is very open about their process, timelines, and what they ship to users. This matters because the product users get has the disadvantages of an in-development product, but without the tools necessary to test features. There is no debug menu to teleport, skip content with bugs, or alter a character's inventory, for example. There are no tools to bypass character creation or add entitlements like ships. In fact, the product we get is pretty polished for something in development. A lot of content like menu UI, sounds, lighting, physics, and so on all work, and honestly at industry-leading quality. But polish phase usually comes after a beta, sometimes far after a beta. Other games have added huge features post-release like No Man's Sky or Diablo 3 or even GTA Online, have done so to support an already purchased title in the hope of acquiring more players. Star Citizen, seemingly, specs out features that don't yet exist for content that does. It's usually the other way around, and can be frustrating. Alpha, beta, gold, these definitions are important for developers because it's how they communicate to their publishers what to expect from their game. CIG doesn't have publishers in the traditional sense. They have you, they have us. But how can we be testers and end users at the same time? The reason we get a polished client to play is that playing a game currently in development is seriously not fun. It's not fun to write up a dozen no repro bugs before wiping your character to restart the Fatui every day. Let's face it, CIG runs the razor's edge with each release, putting just enough features in to move forward, but also spending a huge amount of time making sure everything generally works for the end user. That's because they're trying to provide the player an experience that reflects what the game could be and get players excited. Playing a real alpha dev build is definitely not exciting, and honestly most players shouldn't need to know that. They paid for a game to play with their friends, and when the elevators don't work, it's frustrating. Should CIG provide a true alpha experience for players, and in return be free to develop the game faster? That's not a question I can answer. I love playing Star Citizen, bugs and all, and selling content has clearly been working for them financially. I think what we're seeing with 3.17 is that not having to release a major patch every few months is leading to a lot of features in the pipeline that look great. Then again, branch drift is a real thing, and reintegrating 3.17.4 into 3.18 can't be easy. So, going into 3.18, please remember that a significant amount of time has been put into making the alpha experience a Gold Master experience, and that this kind of game development is unique in its transparency and delivery. Oh, and before I forget, keep an eye out on this channel for the last week of December, because we're having another giveaway, and this one's gonna be big. Hope to see you out there, y'all.